Hello everyone, this is StrawberryShorty back with the letter. So, we're basically going to try out a new choice here. I'm not entirely sure if it will lead to what I think it will or if that will affect the ending, but we're gonna give it a try. Probably will be skipping most of this content, but we're gonna see. So we're at the hospital where we're talking to Ash about Isabella, who they tried to pull out of a coma, but it didn't go well. So we're gonna say maybe it's better if we just listen to them. Doubts aside, this is something we can no longer hide from. Sooner or later, we would have to confront it. However, by then, it might be too late, too painful to accept. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if I can at least spare him from that, I'll willingly take on the role.
Ash, maybe it's better if we just listen to them.
I mean, they didn't actually say anything. The words itself taste foreign in my mouth, their implication even more so.
Maybe they're right. It'd be best if we just let them pull the...
Though before I can finish and drop each of their meaning, it is a cup of coffee that hits the floor first. We heard the cup fall, we didn't hear anything else. Ashton has abruptly risen from his seat, but it isn't the spreading mess at our feet that causes me to falter. It's the look on his face, disbelief and anger all at once. An intense fire behind his eyes, burning while he stares me down and dares me to continue. All these years, I've never seen Ashton this livid. Annoyed, frustrated maybe. He defaults to those when things never go the way he's expecting them to. Never this furious. And right now, as he towers over me, with his hands balled to a fist and his jaw clenched tight, he has nothing but...
That's not your call to make.
What then? You know what they said when they brought her here. Even now, none of them can tell us if she'll even make it. From day one.
I mean, I do think it's a little, early to be saying pull the plug. Because, there's a chance she'll wake up and she's not like a vegetable, so... And she's not, permanently paralyzed, I think, so... She's got a chance.
Just because they said it doesn't mean they're right.
Are you still waiting for a dumb miracle? Don't be stupid. She's got 2 specialists working on her, and they both said the exact same thing. Ashton, we're just prolonging her suffering.
And I'm pretty sure she's asleep.
If Isabella could talk, she'd...
You don't know what she wants.
You don't know that either.
But I sure as hell won't suggest killing her.
That's not what I was trying to say, and you know it.
By the end of it, we're both on our feet. Eye to eye, our tempers meeting each other in ugly collision after each retort, all spoken without any concerted restraint or care for present company. There's no shortage of venom in each of them, and neither one of us appear willing to give way, even after we've exhausted all we can say. After a long minute, though, it's him who chases his gaze away, but not without leaving the last word on the matter in a voice so strained and quiet. I wouldn't have heard it if the hall wasn't as sparsely populated as it is.
You guys can turn your backs on her if you want, but don't expect me to do the same thing.
Then, in one swift movement, he bends down and retrieves the cup. Empty now, its contents a sorry mess on the floor. There's no getting it back, much like every heated remark we've uttered today. No further words are exchanged after that, and perhaps it is for the better. Rebecca found Ashton sitting alone in another hallway with a cup of coffee in his hand. Concerned, she suggested they should just listen to what the doctors said and discontinue the life support. This made Ashton furious, and the two got in a heated argument. Only heaven knows how awkward tonight's party will be with us like this. The quiet stretches on further until Zachary shows up in search of us. By this time, the seconds and minutes have already blurred together in my mind. It must not have been that long, though, from his expression. Dark circles under his eyes were brimming in its edges, as if he had spent another night on a vigil. Ashton tenses the second he catches sight of it, a multitude of expression flashing across his face. Confusion, apprehension, dread, all in under a minute till it settles back to his usual impassive mask. If given the chance, he'd probably run back there to see for himself, but Zachary raises a stalling hand before he can think of it. The nervous line in his mouth gradually melts into a smile, or one resembling it. Lately, seeing a genuine one on any of us seems almost like a luxury. Nevertheless, Ashton lets it ease him. There's nothing else, after all.
She's stable now, but they've placed her back in a coma. She'll be under observation for the rest of the day, so no visitors for now.
Still not the best news we've heard in a while. I don't think it's what Ashton's hoping to hear either. We're back to square one, back to another waiting game with no clear end in sight. Of course, none of us mentions it, even if the meaning is all too clear in our heads. There's still, however, relief in this, something we can carry when the 3 of us leave the hospital for now. That alone will be enough, remains to be seen. At least tonight, I'll have something to help take my mind off things. Hopefully where this all started would provide the answers I'm looking for. It'll be one less thing for me to worry about if so. Rather than pause, we'll just try skipping, in case there's any commentary. Yeah, okay, we'll pause now. Doesn't seem like there's anything new. Even though it's stopping here, we've seen this. So we're already playing as Ashton now, going to get the letter from Isabella's room. Probably nothing more than like 2 new lines of dialogue, but might as well show them off. Despite what the doctors have been telling us, despite what Rebecca seems to have convinced herself, I'd like to believe she will still make it through. When she wakes up, all of this will be over.
Hey, scaredy cat. Hang in there, alright? I'm going to fix this mess we're in. And once you're okay, you're buying a whole month's worth of ice cream.
She won't be able to answer, not yet, but I imagine her laughing at me right now, daring me to make good on that silly promise, and I will. Finding the letter among her belongings doesn't take long. 5 minutes later, I'm fishing it out from one of the side pockets of the bag Rebecca bought with her before the second night after Isabella's confinement. So, pause and then keep skipping, see if this changes the ending. So, did all that, moving through the scenario, nothing new happened. All the same stuff. Isabella remained in her coma. The way people had worded it, I thought we'd actually pull the plug and kill her. But so I killed Rebecca off since I had a save right there, so I could get the hospital ending where she's not by the bed. So, just came across some new dialogue, figured I'd share it. This is right after we learned about Rebecca's death on the TV and tell her mom. I'd almost lost Isabella. How did I make the same mistake again?
What do we do now, Ash?
So, pause in again, maybe? Yep, one more new line. Later that night, sooner or later she'll get to us like she did with Rebecca. She almost did with Isabella. Before that happens, I have to put an end to this. Okay, so we're about to head to the mansion as Ash. We ran into Zach by the car, but it seems like we got some different dialogue this time. I accidentally skipped past some of it, so...
Are you really sure this is the best you can come up with? Ashton, if you ain't...
I don't know, okay? But this is still better than standing around here. Or chasing after every person listed in those papers we found. This is the closest thing we have to a solid lead. Don't worry, I'll be back before you know it.
3 hours.
Ash.
I said 4.
No, 3. Don't negotiate. You're no good to anyone dead.
Glad to know someone's going to miss me.
Just leave, you jackass.
Yep, so pause while we see... So, playing here for a minute, I'm kind of scrolling through for myself to just get the other hospitalized endings with the different people at the bedside. So I figured we might as well try this variation of Mary Ann's death, probably be more or less the same, but I want to stay. I really do want to stay with her. I'm getting tired of pretending, of lying to myself. And the fact that I'm admitting this to myself now of all times only brings to light how Lorraine was right about me all along. I should have listened to her.
But, Lorraine, you're dead. How can we even stay together?
I know. And it's your fault, isn't it? You tore us apart, but now you can put us back together again.
And now that I have the choice to fix what I had done to us, then who am I to do otherwise?
I'm so sorry. I must look like a right mess.
I'm here, Em. I'm here now, don't you worry. Come here.
It takes everything I have not to tear up at the sight of her. She reaches out and slips her fingers through mine before pulling me away from the tunnel and towards the mirror. A reflection, a grown woman and a teenager barely past her prime, lends a bizarre light to this whole scene.
I can't imagine how you've been so alone all these years. I left you, Lorraine. I didn't mean to, but that's what I did. I don't even know if you can ever forgive me.
Don't cry. Doesn't suit your pretty face. Besides, I don't have to be alone anymore, do I? You're here for me, aren't you? You'll never leave me again, will you?
My mouth goes dry as she looks at me. That isn't the plan. This isn't closure. Yet her hand in mine makes me believe that this is real. She's real, and that's all that matters. Nothing else.
Yes, of course. I wouldn't dare leave you.
You swear you won't leave me?
I swear to God, I won't, Lorraine.
Her smile remains. I can only describe her expression as sad. Is this the same thing? She walks around until she stands just behind me and wraps her arms around my waist. I nearly crumble with how I am in her arms once more. And when she puts her chin in the crook of my neck, I feel her hot breath. I'm filled with both joy and grief. The scent of chocolate, almonds, honey, and beer surrounded me. My first taste of love. The love that I denied. It had been so bittersweet.
God's not the only one you're making promises to, Marianne. Swear it to me. Or, even better, prove it to me.
I'll stay forever with you, Lorraine. I swear it to you. How do I even prove it to you?
Simple.
It's not letting us skip, but I feel like it's the same at this point. She presses something in my hand.
You join me. Die for me.
Lorraine! That's... How can I?
How can I even do such a thing?
There's no need to be scared. I'll be here for you until the end, Marianne. Even if you hadn't done the same for me. But that's the only way I can forgive you. The only way we can be together again. Shush now. Really.
Hey, we got Zach killed, by the way. To get that ending. So, I think we can pause now while we resume. So, another random new scene. I actually got a new scene in the hospital, but I'll have to play that one back at a later date. It was just what happens if you're with Rebecca and Zach and Rebecca doesn't go after Ashton. So, following that, Zach's been arrested because we're getting him killed again. So we can get the Rebecca and Ashton ones. And we chose to call Luke out, call Luke out because he comes into the jail and he's like, oh, they're all criminals. Can you hear himself? He's not saying what he think is, I hope. Yeah, and he's making racist comments, you know, it's Luke.
They're all criminals? It's in their genes? Come here and say that to my face, you bastard!
I realized my mistake only after the words have tumbled out of my mouth. True, I shouldn't have put myself out in the spotlight like that, but this guy, this fucking guy.
Oh, and who is this loud young man?
Should have kept my mouth shut. He glances at me like I'm a flea, a pest, but it's more disgusting how everyone here can't see how rotten he is. I wonder if we would have actually decked him if I picked the other option.
Frey, stand down! I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. Luke, you have to excuse him. He's under a lot of stress. Just got removed from a case and the man is an acquaintance, you see.
I can't believe you're all just listening to his shit.
I'm not taking any of my words back because he is an utter bastard. From the way he stares at everyone in this room to what he has done to Zach, it all reeks of the rot that is Luke fucking Wright. Even after so many years, nothing has changed. He's still the same slimeball who does everything to get what he
The
wants.
thief is a friend of a cop? Now that is the start of a joke if I've ever heard one. A thief and a cop walk into a bar.
He's not a thief!
And yet we found him trespassing on my property. There are eyewitnesses, and his grubby prints are probably all over my pristine walls as he was breaking in. Face the facts, little policeman. You've made the wrong sorts of friends.
He's not a criminal!
And that is the truth. But with the way everyone is looking at me right now. This must have been how Isabella felt when we didn't believe her about the letter. Just the thought of that leaves a bitter taste in my mouth.
Calm yourself, Frey! Unless you want me to throw you in a cell myself.
I understand you're upset that your friend is locked up, but the law is the law. And don't you worry, I won't be pressing charges against you. I don't know what charge, but I'm sure I can think of something if I need to.
Yeah, here's the journal entry from Zach and Rebecca. While anxiously waiting for news, Zachary asked Rebecca if she had already settled her issues with Ashton. Rebecca assured him that they'd work something out another time, then asked how he was doing. After he opened up about the nightmare, she reminded him to take care of himself. I don't think we've gotten anything new with him, but I'm not sure. They'll start to bend together.
Do put a leash on your people, Chief Inspector. He might hurt himself. Being that angry can't be that good for his health.
I'm livid. Oh, now we update our journal. Yeah, same thing. Fist clench and jaw tight. I'm nearly ready to just sock this guy good and make do on that promise of a right hook. The frustration about it all must have shown, because only now do I realize that the other officers have also jumped in to hold me back all this time. They don't even let go of me, not until Wright and the Chief are out of my sight. So, I'm killing off Rebecca so that we can get Ash alone at Isabella's bedside, and she's up on the roof, and for some reason we're now getting different dialogue. I don't know. Remembering back in secondary.
We found a dog that one time, didn't we? I think his name was Coco.
I think so. Wait, that dog has a name?
I think that comes with having an owner, Ash.
I'm more surprised you remembered. Seriously, what brought this on? Are you planning to get one soon?
Nothing. It's just the first thing I remembered. It was after that thing with Mandy, wasn't it?
So weird. Of all the things to remember, it's those with something unpleasant in them. But he was there in all of them, and even then I already knew how I felt about him. Despite everything, my lips curl up into a smile, faint, a sad little thing on its own given the situation. Because even at the very end, I know I have this. The little memories, those smiles I've always been fond of, and several years' worth of simply being with him. Even if he stands in a place far away from me, far from how we used to be as children. If only I've been selfish enough back then. If only I'd told him how I always felt. Then perhaps I wouldn't be regretting anything now.
I thought you still don't like Mandy. You're acting weird today, Becca. Whatever. Listen, I need you to go home right away. I'm at Salem Well right now.
I wish time would simply stop for us. There's still a lot of things I want to say. Things I never bothered saying out loud. Things I should have said a long time ago to someone who has always been by my side. But in this moment, there's only one. And if it means I'll have to be selfish, well...
I'm sorry. This will be the last.
For what exactly? Becca, what's gotten into you?
I'm in love with you.
I don't know why we decided to tell him this now. Because he's just like, huh?
What are you going on about?
Since that time in secondary, since you stood in front of me and defended me, since I made that promise to never leave, I've always truly loved you.
Can this wait for a bit? God damn it, Rebecca, where are you?
A soft click. And I'm closing my eyes. I don't even know where we are timeline-wise. All to confess how she'd always felt towards him, if only for the last time. Yeah, I'll pause. So, we're back at the police station. His ass. No new dialogue right here. But we're gonna be getting that call from Rebecca.
Look out for Zach while he's... Becca?
Hey, did I wake you up?
Yeah, get to
No, where are you?
Tell us about the dog, Coco.
Wait, that dog...
I think that
I'm more so...
I do remember picking up a dog sometime during secondary. I'm just not sure what's so remarkable about it. It's just a dog someone else owns. Not a memory I'd bother keeping and remembering the way she does, to be honest. Really, of all things. Still, a laugh escapes me.
Seriously, what brought this on? Are you planning to get one soon?
nothing. It's just the first thing I remembered. It was after that thing with Mandy, wasn't it?
I thought you still don't like Mandy. You're acting weird today, Becca. Whatever. Listen, I need...
I'm sorry.
What? Suddenly her voice hitches, almost as if she's in tears, and it sends every alarm bell ringing in my head. For better or for worse, something more than wrong is happening on her end of the line. Regardless, I give her the focus she asks of me. I don't want to think that she's nearly pleading for me to listen. I like to imagine that it isn't horror and a deep underlying resignation that I hear in her voice. I'm transfixed.
For what, exactly? Becca, what's gotten into you?
I'm in love with you.
Huh?
It's even funnier when you can see his voice.
What are you going on about?
Since that time in secondary, since you stood in front of me and defended me, since I made that promise to never leave, I've always truly loved you.
Can this wait for a bit?
Whatever her words mean or feelings they carry ceases to matter in an instant. They're all inconsequential when someone, Rebecca's life, might be in danger. This whole thing isn't just wrong. Wherever she is, something fucked up is going on, and I'm here listening to it right now, helpless.
God damn it, Rebecca, where are you?
A laugh, and then the line drops dead.
Becca? Rebecca!
Yeah, I don't know if they'll give us any new dialogue since she did a love confession, but we'll see. Isabella's still in a coma, Zach's in prison, and Rebecca's... Oh, pausing. Okay, so just after Rebecca's death, we're out with Professor Andrew, who's trying to comfort us. And we have this line burned into my mind like the image of Isabella's unconscious form on the pavement. And I wasn't going to record that, but like the image of that woman in
Why don't you get
smile.
something from the man? I know it. You look. I know. Release. I'm willing to.
Why?
Because we get a new scene a little bit.
How are you feeling?
Not
Get a tip.
Yeah, this. And there's glass all over her! Flashes in my mind fleetingly, still too clear, still too vivid. The iron tang of blood still lingers in my nose, as if it were yesterday when I responded to that scene. I wouldn't have even recognized her.
We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
Man, she's got glass in her face and like her shoulder. Her knee's doing a thing. Is that a bone? How is she alive?
I'd rather not talk about that, Professor.
She would have been the first one. I've never forgiven myself for it.
I know you well enough, Ashton. You'll see that body.
I mean, we can also... I can't let Isabella wake up to this. I'm gonna pause here. So, unpausing for a bit to show you the gallery. My main thing is to show off the CGs around the hospital bed before I go for the last ending regarding that. But I wanted to show off these. Like, I know we saw one of these. I thought we saw the one with Hana, but for some reason it was not in my gallery, so I don't know. So yeah, we're just gonna watch Kylie die. This is probably worse for poor Kylie, because it's just like... What's with her? Oh, that's her skirt. I thought those were her legs, and I was like, why do they look so weird? So, yeah, that was creepy. Or the epilogues. Good, individual, bad. Yeah, so you can see most of the group ones, but I think the solo ones are the only one that have like slightly different dialogue. There's Ashton, there's Rebecca, there's Zach. On his good days, he visits Isabella Santos, bringing little stories he has no idea if she ever hears, but tells nevertheless, carrying a small prayer that he won't lose her as well. Although he wants to remain optimistic on her chances, it dwindles with every failed attempt of the doctors to bring her out of her coma, and each passing day the girl stays asleep. It's the constant beeping of machines in her room, he can only hope. That end part is generally the same, but if anything, it's knowing Isabella Santos is still there, that all is not yet lost, that keeps her going. Often, when she can afford it, she helps out in times when her friend's aunt can't care for her, even speaking to the girl as if she's awake, listening to her mindless ramblings. However, though she wants to remain optimistic on her friend's chances, and then we dwindles. Same line. I think Ash's is the most interesting one. As bleak as things have been, he never misses a visit to Isabella Santos. Watching over the comatose girl, sometimes staying for hours on end, simply sharing a comfortable silence between them. On occasion, he offers to help her aunt when he can, something the woman appreciates, knowing she can't be there for the sleeping girl every hour of the day. And though Ashton never speaks of it, a part of him knows this is the last thing keeping him from falling apart. So he hopes, desperately, earnestly. And yeah, there's the same optimistic thing. So we're gonna load. This is the everyone's dead path, but we had Hana possessed. So it seems like there's new dialogue. I don't know if the actual ending will change, but we'll see. So, closing my eyes, I barely notice as the weight on the bed shifts, not until I feel a body pressing at my side.
Are you awake?
Hana. So Shrokin has finally found her. Good. Another problem off my list then. I want to give a sarcastic reply, but it's hard to give one when I'm laying down on my stomach with my face buried in a pillow. Besides, I'm hardly in the mood for conversation, and she should be resting. So I keep quiet, hoping that Hana will just go back to sleep. She usually does if I pretend to be out of it long enough. But pretending to be asleep is difficult when she puts her face in the crook of my neck and places light butterfly kisses. A bit of silence passes, but she shows no sign of going back to sleep. It makes it so I can't fall asleep as well. Who can do that when someone is staring at them? I'm about to call her out on it when she speaks up.
It feels like a terribly cruel dream, my prince. I do not even dare avert my eyes if I can. To do so, I'm afraid that you might be spirited away.
Confusion isn't quite enough to describe what comes to mind when I hear her words, but I also feel as if disturbed is too strong a word. Yet I cannot deny the unsettling feeling that worms its way into my stomach. I have to remind myself that this is Hana. I have nothing to worry about from her, for all our faults and misgivings. She is possibly the only person I have, can, and will truly trust in the world. So why does it feel so wrong when her hand touches mine? To be repulsed at my own wife for no apparent reason is illogical, yet her mere presence has been disturbing. From her suddenly devoted and near-dependent nature, her obsession and possessiveness to her strange way of speaking, something has been wrong with Hana as of late. I don't want to admit it, but it was almost as if she turned into another person overnight. Spiders all spindly and sharp, 8 legs, and maggots slick and slimy and dreadful march across my skin. That was a terrible sentence. It made me sick. Revulsion and a general sense of wrong comes to mind.
You promised you would be here again. Someday. We were afraid that you never would.
Wrong.
We've been alone here, you see, in our home, our special place. Waiting for you.
This is giving me Silent Hill 2 vibes. Wrong.
After all this time, finally you've come.
Wrong.
And now we'll all be together. Forever.
Even her laughter's wrong. Wrong, wrong. I want to scream. A journal update. I don't think that's a new thing, though. What's the journal update? Where are we? Is it profiles? Can't be profiles, that wouldn't make sense. So what is the journal update then? It should be on November 1st. Mansion, scarf, mirror, gun. Oh, here it is. Why is it here? The power was still off when Luke woke up. Brushing away the bad dreams, he tried to sleep them off, until Hana's familiar warmth pressed by his side, she began whispering disturbing words to his ears. I want to scream. Run. Leave this place. But my limbs won't move, pinned hard against her as she caresses my arm. Her laughter only grows louder, echoing my head until... Okay. Epilogue. A curious local discovers an eerily empty mansion months later. With its new owners having disappeared into thin air, whispers quickly spread across Luxborn City. Officers who investigated have found only smears of blood on the walls and floors, nothing else. Eventually, they have deemed the mystery of the Ermengarde mansion as another tragedy brought upon the city by the Anselm Butcher. But for those who still believe in the stories of the old, and those who know the truth, it is but a testament to the curse and the secrets of Ermengarde mansion is hidden for centuries. There will come a time when those will finally be revealed, only the hallowed halls of the mansion know. To this day, it stands silent. However, on nights when the wind howls and thunder booms across the sky, some still claim hearing voices within, of cries and wails that fill the nights, and desperate calls of help for anyone who dares listen.
Somebody! Please! Get me out of here! Help! Anyone! Help me, please!
As for the one who remains, despite long odds against her, Isabella Santos wakes up in what would have been the last attempt to ease her out of the medically induced coma. Though now she's unable to use her legs. Oh, so I guess she did get paralyzed. Though she still makes slow recovery in the months that follows, with help from specialists of Ermengarde Memorial Hospital and continuous support of her family. But just when things are looking up, she learns of the tragedies that have recently shaken Luxborn City, the gruesome ends that her friends met. Unable to handle the sorrow and the guilt, her psychological state rapidly deteriorates. One that is further driven by nightmares and a woman she claims to have seen. In the end, she had to be admitted to a treatment facility for close monitoring. Now Isabella rarely speaks, the once vibrant look on her eyes gone. But on nights when rain bursts from the evening sky above its steady beat against her window, sobs can be heard behind the closed doors to her room. Along with 3 familiar names and a continuous stream of apologies their owners will never hear. So Isabella woke up! Yay! I'll pause, see where we are time. So I think I might go for the everyone hates each other ending now. I think this is the save. Yeah, so we're gonna go to work. I don't know how much of this I'm actually going to play through because it's just picking all the meanest options. But we didn't typically pick those, so... Oh, also, we're gonna try and keep Hana and Luke both alive but hating each other. That'll probably be the same ending we saw more or less, but maybe we can get, like, alone endings for them. Oh, remain silent. We can probably pause this because we picked all the negative options in Hana's chapter when we killed her off. So we actually seen a lot of this dialogue before. We are Marianne now, and we are at the Wright's penthouse, and we're gonna pick I'm not feeling too well. I'm starting to go mad, I am. But there is work to be done, and the clock isn't going to stop ticking while I go about having a breakdown. I should go to the loo, splash water on my face, and snap out of it. At least until the end of the day, if I can just last that long.
I think I just need to excuse myself for a minute, if that's all right.
She places a hand on my arm, gentle as can be.
What? No. What if you suddenly fall over or faint while you're all alone? You can just sit down right here and I'll go get you a glass of water.
Or would you like some beer? That's how you are nowadays now. Drowning everything in booze.
No, I don't want anything to drink. Just...
I must have said that forcefully, judging by the look on Mrs. Wright's face. Why does she care? It's not like we're friends. This is business. I'm either well enough to conduct it or not. Why would she pretend to be concerned when I'm simply a means to an end? Just seeing Mrs. Wright reminds me too much of her. And maybe I'm starting to see and hear her again when I shouldn't be. I tried so hard to leave everything behind, to forget them and move on. But that small touch and her voice in my head have nearly set me off the edge, and in an instant, all of her memories come flooding back in.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to snap at you like that. Just give me some breathing room, please. Please, give me a moment.
She doesn't respond, and just before the situation gets any more complicated, Mr. Wright comes in.
Good morning, ladies. What a wonderful morning it is, that I wake up to such a beautiful sight.
Wow, Luke actually not making a situation worse.
I do hope you two are getting along.
I want to smack that smile off his face. Would do it in a heartbeat even, if only he wasn't my client. But I could just see the headlines now. Interior designer sucker punches rich arsehole. I mean, people will buy that. Sometimes, I wish I'd stop thinking whether something is worth the trouble or not and just do it.
What is with that look, Marianne? You look like you've smelled something foul.
What? Don't you like the smell of pancakes? I think they're just wonderful. Like prayers answered by the breakfast gods. I usually prefer tarts, but pancakes are just as good.
It's nothing. Never mind.
Come on then, we can discuss business over food.
So we've seen this already. We're not gonna pause this time though, because we're gonna pick the negative option with Hana. We have to pick something here. Let's look at our relationships. Okay, we'll side with Hana so Luke likes us less. Because we're gonna meet up with Hana in the mansion again, but we're gonna pick the bad option. So first floor. She tells us about her relationship. Why don't you decide on your own? Her worry seems simple enough. I mean, it doesn't have to be as difficult as she makes it out to be, right?
Why don't you decide on your own?
I meant nothing against Mr. Wright, of course, though whiskey buggered me to no end. By law, she would be the owner of the house. Well, unless they signed a joint property ownership anyway, which is a rare thing as far as I know, especially among these highbrow types. Sure, they could actually love their spouse. I don't doubt the possibility. But money is money, and it makes people do the most horrible things sometimes.
It's your house. You can paint the whole place pink if you want, and there's not much he can do.
Sorry about that. Had to do a little bit of a weird cut. So, yeah, we're still at the house. Somber expression she had changes to a look of contempt.
I could, but we are husband and wife. Equal partners in marriage, Marianne, though I can see that you don't understand. This is his home as much as it is mine. I'm not going to go behind his back over a room. And how dare you suggest that?
How do I even talk her down without causing further offense? It's in my attempt to shake off my own drama that I end up tripping right into theirs. Because really, I have no business meddling in the affairs of my clients, unless it involved interior design or architecture. Yet here I am, opening my mouth and yapping. I do hate to see a good woman down.
That's not what I meant by it. I just mean that maybe you don't have to get the approval of your husband all the time.
I still don't think these sound things are wrong.
Or well, okay, fine. I know nothing about married life, Mrs. Wright. You're right about that. But I still think you're allowed your indulgences every now and then.
Of course, my own form of indulgence meant buying old slate 78 RPM country records. Records which I don't even dare use with my gramophone. It could very well be buying entire houses.
That's just my take on it. A perfect relationship is as rare as hen's teeth. You got what you got. I mean, you're doing well enough without my advice. Sure, look it.
That looks to placate her somewhat. She looks away and starts to favor the view outside once more with a faraway look in her eyes.
Feel free to look around the rest of the house. Everything but the theater should be open. Just call if there's need of me.
Of course, Mrs. Wright.
I really shouldn't have opened my big mouth in the first place. This sort of thing only gets me in trouble. Keep it clean, keep it simple, and stick to business. That's it. Be professional. But I fail to do that just because of a pretty face. When she turns to leave, she glances back at me before disappearing into the foyer. I look out the window from where she was standing, and I move on. I think we'll pause here, because I'm pretty sure we got a lot of same dialogue coming after that. Ugh, my mistake. Missed a line. Alone with nothing but my thoughts and her.
Finally, some peace and quiet.
Thought the old biddy would never leave.
Now I'm pausing. Okay, so we're back at the Wright mansion, and we're gonna eavesdrop. They hate us now. I don't usually care for the private affairs of my clients. As I consider I should lurk a little longer, I miss what else was said. All I know is that the topic has somehow moved on from pets to children.
I wasn't being serious.
It's not something you take the piss out of. Having a kid is a big responsibility, Hana. We've talked about this, haven't we? I'm about ready to be a parent. I'd probably end up killing a little brat by the week's end.
This is true. The regret sinks in fast. Why can't I just keep to myself and mind my own business like I usually do? Of all the times to be curious. Lorraine, bless her soul, once told me that there are 3 things I shouldn't do unless I want to be on the shite list of the local social elites. First, don't mess with their livelihood. Whatever business they have that made them and keeps them rich is something they need to protect. Whether it's some multi-million company or some sort of state secret, they keep that close to their chest. Businesses that challenge legal matters and moral issues aside, unless they profited from criminal conduct, it's best to steer away and avoid being their competition. Second, don't mess with their affairs, especially the married sort. It's messy business, just even gossip about it. And worse, to actually be the other woman? I'm towing the line with this role as it is because of whiskey. And the third thing?
Of all the times to be as sharp as a beach ball and as slow as a sloth, Marianne.
Same journal. Well, the third thing rings true for just about anyone, really. Don't mess with their family. Of course, she used the word mess quite loosely. And I think what I'm doing now falls under the multiple definitions it could take. Listening to this, something so undoubtedly private, is a great way to get in trouble.
Don't finish that sentence, Hana. Just don't. We know how this discussion ends. Let's not fight over what ifs and if only.
But what if we are going to have a family, Luke? What then?
I just told you. No what ifs.
We won't talk about it until you're ready.
Let's not talk about it then. Ever.
See, I don't know why this lowered my relationship with them. They don't know I did this. I walk away as far as and fast as I can while still carrying the box until I'm a good distance off in the foyer. I even risk my neck, taking the steps down 2 at a time before quickly handing off the kitchenware to Johannes.
You really shouldn't run down those stairs. You might slip and break your neck. And that isn't a pretty way to go.
He knows.
I'll keep that in mind, thanks. Wouldn't want anything to happen to my pretty neck.
Which is eerie considering how she can die.
Why do you think I wear a scarf?
Because they're comfortable? Other than that, they're still serious choking hazards. You might be wearing your own noose.
Again, talking from experience. But also, have you ever played Dark Pictures anthology Little Hope?
Cut the morbid stuff and let's get these things where they belong.
My kitchen, my rules. If you have somewhere else to go, which I'm sure you have, you may leave the area to me.
Well, I still have to check a few things there, if you don't mind.
How many times do you need to check every room? Are you sure you're not just looking for this secret recipe of my Kirby soup? Because I'll have you know, it is all in my head.
I have no idea what this word means, so...
I like to be thorough with my work. I'm sure you understand.
Shrugs as we enter the kitchen. The box is quickly placed on one of the countertops and he sits to work quietly. Occasionally, he would ask me to take one thing or another and place it somewhere else, but for the most part, I'm left thinking about what I just heard. The talk of children and Mrs. Wright's insistence on getting that room. Could it be? No, she doesn't look it, but of course, it could just be too early to show. And if she is, does Whiskey know? It really didn't sound like it. I don't even think she knows. What do I care, though? Well, aside from the fact that I may be working with a pregnant woman who will have a baby in the near future, this place isn't exactly up to modern safety standards. The slightest possibility that this might be the case only makes me worry. I'll have to do a better job than what I usually do. She's a very nice lady.
You're not gonna go-
No friendship. Let me get to the wine cellar. I'm just talking with Ashton. I think, because I did pick the other mirror option. It's a bit different than the one we get if we spoke with Luke instead of Hannah. I did pick it on another playthrough. I think it's fairly different though, if we choose to not stay with her. I need to move on. Closure. That's all I came here for. Whatever this is, it might as well just be a devil's trick. And I might as well make some use of it, right? I say nothing at first for fear of angering whatever phantom this is. I take Lorraine's hand and bring it up to my lips, pressing a kiss to her knuckles. She takes it as some sort of invitation to pull me along, to step back into the mirror until only her arm is extended again.
I should have been more honest back then. Both to you and myself. I know it's too late. I'm sorry. But
the thought of being with the dead did not agree with me, not one bit.
I can't stay with you.
So what? You're going to leave me for some old trophy wife? That's it, isn't it? You're going to leave poor Amy Lorraine and go after the next rich, pretty blonde that you see.
This is a mistake.
All these years, guilt has been my driving force. I felt so guilty for what I did, what I didn't do.
She thinks she can guilt me into being complacent, but she realizes otherwise as I pull my hand from her. And going by the look of anger on her face, and anger that runs cold, she did not like the fact that I'm not some puppet on a string. Had she chosen her words carefully, I would have accepted whatever punishment Lorraine chooses to give me. Guilt had ran my life, and it might very well have ended it. Because I deserved it.
But what I did to me. The blood in my hands is mine, not yours.
I think you mean on your hands. Whoever or whatever this shadow is, my gut tells me she's not Lorraine. Yet I keep talking as if she is.
I broke your heart, not your neck.
Don't you dare deny it! It was your fault!
Because I loved you more than I dare to admit? Yes, that was my fault, but I never meant to hurt you like that.
Despite my words, no matter how sincere they are, she appears angry, enraged in fact. It's been years since I last saw that face, and even now the memory of it is still etched deeply in my mind. The hurt, the tears, and the hate spilling from her eyes that day, the moment I rejected her. Rejected myself for who I am. And she definitely will hate what I'm about to do next. To my left, a wine rack. And from there, I take a bottle and pray to all the saints I can remember. For all my sins. For every hurtful word I've uttered. For what I have driven her to do that day, what I forced her into.
What are you doing?
I do it without thinking twice. Quickly, before I can hesitate, I grab a bottle and send it straight towards the mirror. Shards of the bottle and mirror are sent flying everywhere as Lorraine's screams echo in the cellar. Bitter, searing, like every wounding accusation she hurled at me. They've never left me, I doubt they ever will. But with this, I can move away from them, from her, live my life as I should, free from my burden. Her burden. Because the Lorraine I know, the real one, the person I loved would never want me carrying this to my death. As the screaming dies down, I can't help but mutter weakly.
It's done. It's done. Oh, Lorraine. Forgive me, Lorraine.
I take some time to compose myself, breathing in and out, stamping down the tremors, still racking my hands and straightening out my jacket and fixing my hair, all in a weak attempt at returning myself to someone resembling my normal self. This would probably be easier to do with a mirror, but I likely won't be able to stand looking at one for a long time.
Well now, I should probably go back up there. Party to attend, rich socialites to do business with, and food to eat. Mrs. Wright will be happy if I make some time for it anyway.
Yet one last time, to the shattered gas beneath my feet.
I'm sorry, Lorraine. May you see God's light on the path.
Turning around to leave, and for good this time, the uneasy smile on my face falls when as I see Lorraine, whole and well.
Come on, Mac. You really didn't think it would be that easy, did you? You get bonus points for trying.
Push her and run.
But you should know an 8 in charisma is not enough to turn undead.
She advances towards me, backs me against the wall. I can't even reach for another wine bottle without putting myself within her reach. Despite my earlier bravado, I don't think she'd be able to exist at all without the mirror. Can you blame me, though? It's not like I'm an expert on the supernatural.
That's not... You shouldn't be...
Paranormal, Marianne.
What? After the mirror? Did you think just moving on will erase what you did to me? You're nothing but a murderer, Marianne. A murderer!
Stay back. You're not real. Leave me alone. Stop! I'm trying to move on with my life, so why won't you let me? Please! Just get out of my head and leave me be!
I try to find an exit when there's a click. The next thing I know, I'm falling back into darkness. So, we've seen this before. This is the whole thing where she gets trapped in the cell, so we're gonna pause here. I'm pausing for a journal entry. Desperate to deal with her painful past, Marianne McCullough excused herself from attending the housewarming party to search for Amy Lorraine within the mansion. Seeing her ghost in the wine cellar, however, a realization hit her and she finally let go. So we're gonna pause while we speed through Rebecca's path. Okay, so we're right after the housewarming party, where an angry Rebecca is confronting Ashton, and we're gonna... He doesn't want us near Luke or the Wrights, and so we're gonna say, what does he have to do with this?
Oh, what does he have to do with this?
I don't think that minus is from this thing, it's from earlier. It's not a question without merit. Though the man can be quite abrasive, sometimes downright nasty with his words, you can't simply accuse anyone by virtue of that alone, says the woman who slammed him over the head with a book on basically no basis. And it is an accusation, no matter how much Ashton's phrasing downplays their meaning. What right does he have to tell me who I should associate myself with, without even bothering to tell me his reasons at that?
Plenty. Just trust me on this, Becca.
Don't you Becca me. That doesn't answer my question at all, Ash. You haven't answered any of my questions, in fact. What's really going on here?
I want to hear it from him. If we are to go down this route, I want to hear it straight from his mouth. Because whatever he thinks of the man, I haven't found any reasons why I should be wary of him. Again, blatantly untrue. Sure, he started off on the wrong foot, but he's a decent guy when he tries. Simple explanation is all I want. Is that really so hard to understand for him?
The situation's complicated. One mistake and you guys could...
So, we're back here again. More secrets? Why can't you be honest to me for once?
He's a dangerous man to be around, Rebecca.
Really? Care to elaborate on that? Because from what I've seen, the only dangerous thing about that guy is his audacity to cheat on his wife.
Why are you defending him?
Who said anything about defending anyone?
You know, I'm getting really worried about you guys. First it's Zach, and now you're...
Oh, you're worried?
Somehow, even that concern feels empty to me, even if it's from him.
You care? Really now? If you care, then where were you the entire party?
That doesn't matter right now. You know I can't simply...
Forget it, Ashton. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about this anymore tonight. Speak to me when you're ready to stop spouting the same barefaced lies.
Ashton jerks back as if I've struck him. For a fleeting moment, something akin to hurt darts across his features, his eyes narrowing and his hands closing tightly into a fist at his sides. It is little to lull my ill humor, because in the next second, his answer sounds nothing of the apologetic tones I'm expecting from him.
Fine.
A little regret would have been nice.
Fine.
In my anger, I don't even notice that I've climbed inside his car. That's an awkward drive home. Rebecca found Ashton waiting for her upon exiting the mansion. Frustrated because he was nowhere to be found during the entire party, she demanded to know what was going on. When he couldn't give her an answer, the two ended up having a huge fight. Until after I've slammed its door behind me with as much force as I can summon. He fell soon after, and shortly we're on our way back to the city. Yet even with the city's bright lights welcoming us, the dense, somber air from the mansion still lingers. Fighting, fighting, fighting. We pause. I think we're going to the library. Yeah, so we'll pause. No, why is he saying this?
Rebecca, didn't I say long ago you can drop the professor?
I think this is not new, so pause it. Okay, so we're playing as Ashton now, talking to Rebecca. Probably mostly going to be the same dialogue, but we did get this line, so...
The only time you did talk to me was to rail on me about Luke. What was that all about? Were you somehow expecting me to just accept everything as it is?
You really shouldn't go near that man, Becca.
Why? Because you don't trust him. I wonder if you actually trust anyone. Aside from the three of us, Zach, Isabella, and myself, do you even have any other friends?
Tom is my friend.
If you're perfectly fine with that, then go ahead. No one is stopping you. But don't expect me to share the same views. I can have a life of my own. Friends that I don't necessarily share with you. I'm an adult, Ashton. And I can make my own bloody decisions. I sure as hell can choose the people I want to let into my life.
Of course she's allowed to do as she pleases. I never mentioned she couldn't. Us growing up together doesn't mean it always has to be just the two of us. It's a dumb idea to believe in when nothing ever remains constant. Things will inevitably change through the years. She'll make friends with people outside of our little circle. I'm just as free to form relationships with other people. But why, of all people, did it have to be him? Why does it have to be Luke Wright? That guy is nothing but trouble. How can she defend a guy like that? She's already calling him Luke, for Pete's sake.
I trust Zach, I trust Isabella, and I trust you, Rebecca. So why can't you trust me on this?
Because you withhold information.
You need to stay away from that man. Because he's... I really wish I could tell you.
What was that saying Isabella mentioned before? A liar is a brother of a thief? People look... I think we got all those already. I don't know when to pause. Yeah, I'll pause now. We're gonna talk to the professor. Okay, so we all just met up at Isabella's apartment after what happened at the library, still controlling Ashton, and we're gonna say to the clearly injured Rebecca, please tell me you didn't do something dangerous.
Please tell me you did not just do something dangerous today.
Look at how much we all hate each other. Before that frown even completely forms on her face, I already know that somehow this whole questioning started off on the wrong foot.
What are you implying?
That you're running blindly into things? This is what I warned Isabella about the other day. Now you're doing the exact same thing.
I know what I'm getting into, Ashton. Besides, it was just a trip to the library.
That arm injury and the limp tell a completely different story.
She caught me off guard. What? Did you think I went looking for her with a book in hand? I'm not stupid, Ash.
You did beat Luke with a book.
And what do you want me to do? Stand here? Just let that bloody ghost do whatever she wants to us?
No, I want you to be careful. We don't know what we're dealing with here yet. I've yet to figure everything out, so...
You're not the only one who can do things here, Ash. Quit playing the damn hero, you're not. You should be thankful someone's even trying to help. You're lucky no one has died yet, after it apparently took you this long to come around.
I mean, you didn't believe it either.
You're the one who kept brushing all of this off. In fact, you're the one who dismissed Isabella first.
The last one feels like a slap in the face. Really, Rebecca has a knack for being brutally honest in her opinions. We've often clashed at times, yet I still respect her for it. Her opinion is as valuable as every other person's I've let into my life, and this time she's right. I've made a huge mistake.
Becca, that's enough. Please. It's not his fault. Not anyone's. We're all here now. Everyone's safe. Alive. There's other stuff we should be focusing on. So please, just stop. Both of you.
She's so tiny! I gotta look at her height. Skip through some journal content. Profiles. She's 5 foot. But damn it, I'm trying.
And you didn't? Back at the movie house, you were agreeing with me.
Guys, chill. You heard Isabella. No blaming anymore. It's all in the past. Just let this go. We have more important matters to deal with, yeah?
She still should have ran. That woman's not something you can hit with a book.
Did hit her.
Believe me, Ashton, I did. then a bloody cart came out of nowhere. Do you have any idea how painful being hit with one is? But you know what? If it weren't for a damn book, you wouldn't be yelling at me right now. I would be dead.
Sobering silence descends in the room. Instantly, both of our angers have been tempered as the gravity of that one word hits all of us. Dead. Another close call, another would have. Another one we've narrowly avoided. How long can we keep this up?
But no more fighting, okay? If one of you starts another round of it, I'm going to drag the two of you out. By your ears.
That marks the end of it, at least for the time being. And as soon as Isabella returns and hands Rebecca the cold compress she promised, we get straight down to business. So, I don't know when the next new dialogue is. Encounter with the ghost. I guess we're probably going to the park for our normal fight. At least now it makes sense because we all hate each other. Wonder if any of the dialogue will be new. No, none of it. Wow. No, we're at the pub fighting. I could probably skip most of this, but we're fighting with somebody. Okay, we're gonna say something mean to Zach to get the few people I have left out of harm's way. I think you're all safe, away from whatever risk I'm about to jump into. Sadly, the whole of it never makes it out. Should have expected it won't be easy when my little talk with Zach this morning almost turned into a fist fight. Turned out sleep isn't just what some of us need. Yeah, the girls are fighting. It's been a while since we've seen this. I don't want to side with either of you! I'm trying to ruin friendships. I'm gonna make a save file here. Just in case this ruins everything. Okay. Relationships. Where are we at? Let's side with Isabella.
Okay.
She didn't have to say that.
Small frown returns to her face so that it lacks the same anger from before the bitterness
And you
says.
don't have to apologize for her. If she wants to say sorry, she has to do it herself.
She has a point, though. Isabella freezes. In an instant, the pleasant air around us dissipates. She shifts her attention back to her hands again, both clenched so tightly that her knuckles are visibly pale.
I know, Ash. I just thought we'd find something in there.
I can't let you do that, Belle.
Ow. No friendship. I wonder if we can make it so Rebecca no longer wants to confront.
Forget it, Belle.
No longer even wants to confess to us. Oh, she's coming!
There's already someone that I'm in love with. Someone else.
I don't know why you're confessing this when we all hate each other. I've worked hard to ruin this relationship. It takes all of my willpower to force myself to even look at her. For sure there will be hurt, maybe she'll even be angry, and I don't hold it against her. And sure enough, when our eyes meet again, her mouth is already settled in a tight line and she assumes a rigid pose. There's a sharpness to her gaze, but behind it, it's pain, undeniable and searing. Something that she tries to hide by hastily looking away and stepping back.
Becca, I know this...
It's all right, Ashton. You don't have to explain anything.
Yeah, but you should... I should...
I told you, no need. It's not like I didn't have an idea or anything. When you think about it, it's really... Anyway, let's just end this conversation here, all right? I don't think it would do us both any good.
Go back to that line I missed.
When you think about it, it's really quite obvious. The way you've always looked at her said everything.
To Ashton and Isabella's relief, Rebecca later called back. Soon she showed up at Salem Well, looking worse for wear. When the detective pointed it out, annoyed that she might have also ignored his warnings, the redhead was quick to retaliate. Fortunately, before it brewed into a fight, Isabella stepped in. We're fighting. Girls are fighting. Everyone hates each other.
This is going to get really awkward if we keep at it. When all has been said and done, at least I told you, right? Maybe I can finally let this whole thing go. Who knows?
She takes it a lot better when we made her have that talk with Luke.
Thanks for hearing me out, though. I won't keep you long. I know you have things to do. Just promise me you won't do anything dumb, all right?
She doesn't wait for an answer. Instead, she flashes me one last strange smile before walking away, while the only thing I can do is watch her retreating back. Rebecca confessed her feelings. However, Ashton couldn't reciprocate. Visibly hurt, Rebecca left it at that. She only wanted him to know. In that one moment, one conversation, something also breaks between us. Something irreparable. A different kind of regret. Haunting me amidst the silence of my car as I drive off and leave it all behind. No, I'm gonna pause, because this is gonna be the same dialogue as all. Okay, another brief new scene. Hana being held by the ghost, we actually got a choice as Luke to demand her release or stay quiet, so we stayed quiet. So I want to rage and scream, but my tongue feels fuzzy in my mouth. The fight is gone for me, and I can't sound out any protest. Anything I try to say dies off in my throat, and I'm paralyzed by the way the woman looks at me, the way she has her hands around Hana's neck. Perhaps it is for the best that I keep quiet anyway. I know for a fact that one shouldn't aggravate a hostage taker. There is no winning an argument with someone who holds a life easily taken. But was there any reasoning with a monster? She looks far too gleeful, far too deranged to be all there. The way she laughs at Hana's begs, I'll say please, reinforces the thought. When did this all become so fucked up? A strangled cry wrecks my body when Hana truly starts to beg for her life, and I only stand there, a coward without a tongue or the slightest hint of a heart.
It hurts so much. Please, someone help me.
You have no relationship with anyone. She's cut off as the woman's fingers tighten around her throat. To think that she's heard her pleas, to find out she's with children. Did she say that? Does she feel nothing? Is she so heartless to hurt children, unborn as they may be? Hush settles over the room. She speaks up. Her voice is but a whisper and deathly slow, and I'm hard-pressed to hear it over the pounding of my heart in my ears. She speaks, the woman from the gardens and the servant girl from the ballroom, from the hallucinations, visions, memories, whatever they were.
Why do you not speak up for her? Surely you must have some affection remaining for her. Is there truly no love left?
My throat runs dry and I am scared, speechless once more. Shame floods my cheeks and it becomes so difficult to even look their way. I do still love her, I really do, but I have myself to think about. Rushing in headlong into situations isn't the best way to go about things. This isn't some fairy tale. I'm not some knight in shining armor. I don't think I even qualify to be some dashing prince. I'm nothing but a coward who only looks out for himself. It seems she's found what she's looking for and she has no further use for Hana. Unwilling to risk Hana's safety, Luke kept quiet to her disappointment. Although the woman eventually released his weight, there was anger and contempt in her face. All of a sudden, the whole house shifted and a blink, blood and gore was everywhere. I saw the blood and gore part begin everywhere at first, so I thought, oh no, we've killed Hana. My hand on Hana's back sends her falling down the stairs. I moved to catch her, and that sends us both sprawling at the foot of them. With my back to the ground and her on top of me, the pain doesn't even register in my head. All I can worry about is Hana as I pull the both of us off the ground and away from the stairs, away from her. She's glaring at us, but it seems my sin is too grave, my blunder too big, that she can only look at me with disappointment and betrayal on her face. And though she doesn't completely shy away from me, the hold she has on my arm is light, ready to let me go at a moment's notice. Much like I had easily let her stay as a hostage. It is only fair, I suppose. I am nothing but a coward in her eyes. A sorry excuse for a man who can't even muster up the courage to protect his wife. And cowards cannot be trusted.
I'm so sorry, Hana. I was so scared.
What are you sorry for?
What? What do you mean?
It's not like you were ever there for me to begin with.
My blood runs cold at her words, and the hollow emptiness of her words ring true. We nearly forgot for a moment.
You do not deserve what you have.
Hearing her voice triggers something in Hana, and she starts to tear up. Her face contorts into one of pain and fear. But I grab her by the shoulders to keep her in place so that she can see me and only me, and so that I can only see her too. Except she squirms and fights against my hold, even as I try to reassure her.
Look at me, Hana. Look, I'm here. You're safe. I won't let her hurt you again. Do you understand? Just breathe.
I don't know exactly what in bloody hell's going on, yet I can't find it in me to care. Whoever these people are and whatever they're here for, this is not acceptable. For all that I know, this is all some dumb charade to get to me. All the times I have seen the woman before, it could have all been an act to get to me, to get under my skin. And to think they dare hurt Hana? For all the fear that I had felt, seeing her touch Hana, I can only think of her as an actress in grotesque makeup. My hand still shakes, the fear not having quite gone, but anger fills me as I look at the woman, a sneer on my face.
How dare you! I want you out of my head, and that goes for all of you!
You said this already. So back to the same dialogue.
What is she talking about, Luke?
Don't listen to her, she lied. Hana, you're the one who bought the house.
There's nothing for me here, nothing to keep this place.
Careful, Luke!
I don't know why it wouldn't let us skip that again.
Luke, please put that... What about me?
Are you? You're also that creature.
I'm not...
Oh.
Why for you? For us?
Right. Oh, here. Are you? Because of...
She slaps the knife. Someone gotta punch him this time? Oh yeah, Hana punched him! She merely stands before me after. Let's read that. Before my mind registers what's happening, a sharp blow explodes inside of me. Yes, intro. She merely stands before me afterwards without even batting an eye, glaring at me as if she might just rip my head off in this instant. Sometimes I forget.
Don't you dare, Luke! Don't you dare imply I've ever thought of you that way!
That Hana is never the weak woman I believed her to be. That might be the best CG in the game. How did I come to think of her as such? She used to be someone I could look up to, didn't she? When you look at her now, the way she stands tall facing a man like me, the same way she had done all those years ago, I can't help but think, am I not responsible for taking that part of herself away from her? Enjoy your time as Mrs. Luke Wright. What a bunch of shite. Figures why she wants to leave me.
And these people are only trying to help us!
Oh, of course, by barging into our home! Are you really going to trust them to save your life? These peasants who brought this pox upon us!
Keep talking about us like that, and see if any of us here will keep you out of this place.
That just says help you out of this place.
Rebecca, stop! All of you stop this!
Yeah, it's the same stuff from the other ending where she mentions the paper. I think we're gonna get the...
Seriously, Luke? Are you really more worried about that?
Yeah, worried about burning the mansion.
Buttercup, Marching, millions. It's going to take years getting all that money back.
Well, you certainly won't be getting any of that money if you're dead. Really, Luke? Is that more important than your life?
Bloody fucking hell! Not only do I have trespassers on my property, but they're also arsonists!
I love his dialogue.
It's not only that. Think about it. Are you people implying that my husband, that we should just...
Of course! Of fucking course!
Luke, that isn't what I...
Are you all going to stoop that low?
It's nothing like that, Ash.
Yeah, it's a sacrifice talk again. I don't think it really matters what we say, but... I'll just burn the letters so we can keep our property. Let's see if the epilogues are any different. It better be. Man should put back on the parket. Bankruptcy for the thing. Yeah. Yeah, they still had the divorce. Yep. And Luke still manages to escape. Luke will never go to jail. Not as a businesswoman. I mean, Marianne is happy. So I guess they're all doing well. Let's get to the relationships. What do you mean you two are close? You're not supposed to be friends? Oh, we'll get these two hating each other. I worked hard to make them dislike one another. But apparently we can't make Zach and Rebecca hate each other too much. Oh, we actually did get their ending, so well. Shortly after accepting the scholarship grant from Luxborn University, Isabella moves from Salem Residences in favor of staying in a dorm close to her campus. Although she makes the decision out of convenience, she won't deny also doing it out of a desire to avoid another awkward encounter with Rebecca Gales. Following the aftermath of the curse, the relationship between the two girls turned lukewarm at best. While no harsh words have been exchanged yet, their wordless silences since the incident have only pushed them further apart. Isabella leaves her home of 5 years with a heavy heart, and even though she has jokingly complained about Rebecca's bossy attitude in the past, she confesses to missing the woman's fussing. Despite their tense parting, she still carries hope they will one day be able to fix whatever has come between them. But if there will be a chance for it, is a question they both ask until now. As pleasant as things have gone in her life recently, Isabella greatly regrets allowing her friendship with Zach to fall apart in the aftermath of the curse. This is probably just normal stuff. Yeah, the burning. Although theirs isn't brought upon by petty arguments unlike many others, the lack of communication has proven equally problematic for people like them. Knew that was what would get them in the end. Especially with Isabella making a conscious effort to avoid the man and him her once it becomes clear that it's no longer something they can fix with friendly jibes. Ultimately drifting apart becomes certain, taking with it any previous plans they've made. That little exhibit they both wholeheartedly poured their ideas on seems a faraway dream now. I want to hear about you, Ash. Between the lingering trauma and their measly attempts at normalcy, both Ashton and Isabella know that there are things that will never be the same. Gone is their friendly banter and rapport, as are their petty arguments and light teasing. After all that has been said and done, it's only sensible for things to fall apart the way it all did. It is inevitable, so to speak, yet in brief moments when their eyes meet and a last stolen glance is given, a shadow of it can still be seen in them, a quiet, steadfast thing that remains, a trace of what could have been had things not crumbled. Neither holds on to it, of course, as much as they wish to. Both of them think it's already far too late. They can only walk away from it and leave nothing but a heavy regret in their wake. They never talk of what happened inside the Ermengarde mansion nor the curse. Never in friendly conversation, seldom in casual banter, not to anyone. To each of them who remains, it is a memory better left alone, never to be disturbed. But on days it comes back to them, when the memories are particularly vivid, a different hurt surfaces. One that cuts far deeper than any horrors they've seen. One that has crumbled right in their very eyes, leaving nothing but the last strains of an old song they used to sing. And when its last notes fade into silence, one thing slowly becomes clear. The curse has taken something far more valuable from them. So, there's the everybody hates each other ending. Well, except Rebecca and Zach. Apparently, they're somehow still friends, so good for them. So I think next time, like, I want to do the true ending, but I also want to find a time to hook Zach and Hannah up, because that's not what I plan to do for my last playthrough. So maybe I'll do that next, and just kind of zoom through it. But until next time, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Please leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye!